Shalom Aleichem, beautiful and wonderful Chevra. Mamish with the greatest love, with the greatest dignity and the humblest experiences that we can offer. Baruch Hashem, feeling a lot better. Wow. Okay, so last time we met, we were meant to be meeting Mamish like 3 times. I apologize, it's been a good few days since we last met. Yeah, that day whenever it was, a couple of days ago, 3, 4, 5 days ago, after that, Baruch Hashem did not feel so good. And Chazdei Hashem, the beauty of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that gives us the gift of health, feeling a lot better now. Let's start by placing our attention on our breath. Gently placing our attention on our breath. Just noticing the breath in, and then dropping and rolling the breath out. Being aware of the inhale and the exhale. And as we do that, just to set our intention. Our intention today, Be'ezras Hashem, to share and to speak, to communicate, and to recognize ever so deeply that we've been gifted so many gifts. And may this be a Torah of healing on so many dimensions for ourselves and our families. Healing for our nation, healing for humanity. Having the ability to heal and align, as we know that refuah, the root of refuah, is the same root as tiferes, balance, because what we can suggest is balance is health. And the more that we are aligned, the more that we can really connect and align the different soul parts, the neshama, ruach, and nefesh, then we are in a state of tiferes, and that's what we want, refuah to tiferes. And we want that for the individual. We want that for the family unit, the community. That tiferes, that harmony, that integration, balance, and synthesis we want for all of the human beings. And as we started off by mentioning, we've got the world of the laws, the halachas, the purpose-driven worlds of attaining Olam Haba, and we've got the discipline, etc., etc. Yet, we have to remember all of that needs to be held within self, and to have a proper understanding of the alignment of the soul parts, to experience a reality, as Eov says, from my flesh I'll experience HaKadosh Baruch Hu. To come to a place, as we mentioned by Mishlei, that one day our Avarim will come to our Leiv and say, we are all one, and not the other way around, that the Neshama and the Das is like, come on, Nefesh, hurry the hell up, get on with it. But no, the Avarim will come to the Leiv. And we could experience, as we mentioned in Mishlei, such a deep level of centering and health. We could be arum, we could be vulnerable, experiencing deep vulnerability, and hopefully developing our Yishva Das, Likutei Mar, and second Chelek Yud. And the reason why people are distant or feel distant from HaKadosh Baruch Hu is this lack of Yishva Das. And to remind ourselves, Das without Nefesh is lo tov, it's not good. And Das with Nefesh is tov, and Nefesh ba'ad bash is tov with Das. And this wonderful festival of Pesach, the mouth that speaks, the mouth that expresses, Haggadah Shel Pesach is this journey of reclaiming our sanity. It's reclaiming our kalim and the levels and layers of freedom. As we said, moving from within Mitzrayim, from Kaitza Ruach to a place of Das, and then moving from a place of Das to a higher sense of experience. And as we mentioned throughout so many Sfarim, Das is something really, really important, connected to the Golus and Geula process. Gemara Nadarim and Vayikra Rabbah and Kedushin. Das is needed in order to grow. Das is needed in order to really experiment and experience a good living. And we need to experience empowerment and growth and resilience so we can really give of ourselves that beautiful light that you and I have to offer. And when speaking about Das, this is the transitioning between the exile mentality to the redemption mentality. Das, rich in interpretation and understanding. So we spoke about how Moshe Rabbeinu is the first Redeemer, and Moshe Rabbeinu is Das, yet the final Redeemer will hold and share the same qualities. Shemais Rabbah 2:6, the Zoya, Reish Nun Gimel, the Arizal Shar Psukim Vayichi. And the qualities of Das that we started to experiment with, to play with, the world of observation, the world of distinguishing, separation, the world of connection. 3 qualities of Das. There are other qualities as well. And as we mentioned in the Zaya, in the second Chelek, Kuf Ayin Zayin Amud Aleph, that tells us that Das is the key to all of the emotions, to the Midas. Because we have something called Das Chitzoni, which is the awareness of where we are right now in the moment, in the space of where we are. And then we have the internal world, what I'm relating to within myself right now. We could do that check-in, which hopefully we'll do in a few minutes. And through Das, we develop a self-awareness. We can make mindful choices and experience, hopefully, deep transformation. And once again, this freedom is really being communicated to us via this wonderful Chag of Pesach. Pesach, the external liberation and freedom. And it's inviting us to go in and experiencing that itself. And why do we want to experience this liberation? Why? Because it's good for us. We feel better. Part of healing is we feel better. And we deserve to feel good. We've been in exile for such a long time. We deserve to feel good. And we should think about that in terms of normative everyday living. Did I live good today? When I come to say Kriyas Shema Lamita, did I feel good? Did I enjoy my day? Did I have moments of goodness, presence, and feeling good, feeling full? And we can ask that. I remember Rabbi Singer would say, when you learn Torah, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? We have to have a baseline attitude that it's worth it for me. It's worth it to invest in discipline. And as we've said before, discipline is saying, I love me. That's another Torah, the importance of Gevura, which is related to Das. But this Nakuda of becoming a Balas Das and growing and developing, becoming more integrated and healthy, it's good for us. We feel better. We're more centered. We can hold everything that goes on in a much finer way. And we feel good, eineg. We feel a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose and pleasure. And we are to feel that. We're invited to feel that. And we shared, I think we shared a few weeks ago, the Nakuda, the Medrash, that Eden is eineg. Eden is eineg. So, as we go forward, we want to come to this place of recognizing that healing involves feeling good. Healing involves feeling more, or experiencing more focus. And we want it for us and everybody else, because then everything functions better. With a greater synthesis and a synergy, everything functions better. And what we said is, Das is the key to start this journey. That we came from the Kaitzer Ruach of Mitzrayim, Metzer Yam, shifting into the journey, Dor Hadeah, coming to the place of the Kabbalah Satira, that a group of healthy people receive the Torah. That when the Das is enveloped in the Nefesh, if it's a not good experience, that's called Chayla Nefesh. It's not nice, it's not good. We were Kaitzer Ruach, Metzer Yam. And then we were gifted by Moshe Rabbeinu the journey of coming to a place of Das, Dar Hadeah, to receive the Torah. And it was a group of people who held strong a state of Das that received the Torah. So we shifted from Nefesh, being stuck in the Nefesh of Bahami in a negative way, And I say that because we can have so many good experiences where we are medavek, we're enveloped in the nefesh bahami, and it's fitting, it's good. We want that. Shifting from the nefesh bahami to Adam, and we mentioned experientially where the nefesh bahami, the stimulus and response, the trigger and reaction, the hisayrus and dachav attaching. The world of Adam, there's a space between the hisayrus and dachav. There's a space between the trigger and reaction. There's a space between the stimulus and response. And that's where the magic happens. That's where the healing can start to occur. And then from there, when we receive the Torah, what do I drop into that space? So I could either drop sociological norms into that space. Who says they're good? I could drop other people's views. Who says they're good? Who says they're helpful? And if I don't take control over my life, somebody potentially will take control over my life. And who says they'll do a better job than me? Maybe they will. But we want to drop into that space. Torah thinking, Hashem, Devekus. And this is something really important to recognize. And what we want to start to understand, the more I can become aware, the more, like just now, just become aware of how you are physically positioned. Notice how right now you are physically positioned. What am I feeling in my body? What you notice now, and as you do that check-in, that may impact what you experience in this next, 40 minutes. Nachon? Maybe you need the bathroom. Gift yourself going to the bathroom. I don't know. Does anyone need the bathroom now? I hope not. But if you do, why not? Why do I even have to say I hope not? Do you need a drink? Maybe we should take a couple of minutes and you guys could go get a drink. You could go to the bathroom. But the way you feel right now, the check-in of where I am in my body right now, that will impact this next 40 minutes. My emotions, where am I in my emotions right now? Just do a check-in. Non-judgmental observation. What am I feeling in my emotions? And again, that may impact you right now. And then we can ask, what am I thinking? What am I thinking right now? Ma ani choshev. And whatever's going on inside my mind, that may impact me right now. So the choices that I make when I haven't done a check-in can be less adequate choices. But when I do that check-in and I can note where I am, and I can gift myself, whatever I need to gift myself, like we're told by Hillel when he was leaving the Beis HaMedrash, where are you going, his students ask. And he says, I'm going to go have breakfast, or I'm going to go to the bathhouse. Rabbi Kiva has the same matzav where the Talmidim ask, where are you going to go? He says, I'm going to have breakfast. The Nakuda I messed that up. Hillel and Rabbi Kiva, after being asked by their students, where you go, they said, we're going to do a chesed. We're going to do a chesed. Oh, you're going to do a chesed? What chesed? One's going to the bathhouse and one's going to have breakfast. But the point is we can gift ourselves, and that gifting of ourselves is healthy, is good. So take that into consideration, because that's part of rewriting our story, rewriting our narrative to live the best, fullest life. There's a saying that we've said before: our biography is not our destiny. Our biography is not our destiny. Now, when we're speaking about our biography is not our destiny, we mean it, because each and every moment is brand new, as we mentioned by the Toldos Yaakov Yosef, and this is brought by the Tzemach Tzedek, and earlier sources by the Pardes Ramonim, that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we are connecting to is a HaKadosh Baruch Hu that's recreating reality from moment to moment. And what that means is that there's hitchachus all the time. The more I'm in a state of das, which is the gift of being present, the greatest present is being present. That gift will enable me to realize that my biography is not my destiny. And the more I have awareness that my biography is not my destiny, the more that I have awareness that what was. The past was the past. It doesn't exist now, and the future doesn't exist now. Wherever you are right now, you're here. You're here, we're speaking together. I'm speaking into the microphone, looking at your beautiful faces on the screen on the computer. We're here. This is what exists right now. I'm getting nice smiles from you. That's what I'm experiencing right now. Now, it's true to say, you smiling at me, okay, thank you for sticking out your tongue. Yes, wonderful. But you smiling at me brings up good feelings. So my biography is not my destiny. I can allow my biography to be my destiny if it's good, but what happens if it's not? What happens if there are elements and areas in my life that are less pleasant and they're holding me back? With awareness, and with next is the proper relationships, awareness and developing the proper relationship. So when I can have that proper relationship through awareness to my history, it definitely, it's a different experience if it's having a good relationship. Even having the maturity to create a good relationship with an unpleasant experience can be absolutely powerful for us. So my biography is not my destiny. And through having greater awareness and relationship with my, what we call nefesh, the lower self, and as we've discussed time and time again, the nefesh is where our memories are. And the memories are made up of, or created from, our physical sensations, emotions, and our thinkings. And our memories become ever so quickly our expectations and assumptions in the present moment and how we relate to something. So my biography is not my destiny. I start to become more aware. I can build a better relationship with that. And then from there, I can start to introduce sumira, va'asei tov. I can introduce ever so deeply a new narrative, a new biography. I can do that. And it's powerful. It's real. And we want to understand that our personal narrative is the story we tell ourselves, whether we're conscious or we are not conscious about it. And we are capable of change. Every day we engage in internal dialogues, our thoughts, our beliefs, our assumptions, and this all shapes our perception of reality in how we relate to that which is going on every single moment. And this narrative often influenced by past experiences and external expectations. And this can either confine us, or it could set us free. And what we are saying is that through exercising conscious mindfulness over our daily actions, through choosing how we want to act and react, relate and constantly have that ability to see new, to see different in any given situation, through that awareness and building a healthy relationship with the nefesh, we start to develop a new standard of living. We start to rewrite and we start to upgrade our narrative in a more ideal way. In a more ideal way. And just to understand, just to make it really clear, and I know that we've shared this before, so it'll be a chazara, but the mechanism of how we work, and we want to become the mechanics of our own machinery. Das is awareness, and we at stage 1 are aware of das, tachton, chitzoni. We could be aware, just be aware of the space that we are in right now. We could be aware of the space we are in right now. Become aware of the table and chairs and pictures. And I see Nachi, you're in the park. You're in the park, okay. So be aware of that. Be aware of that. Oh, you're not in the park, you're in your house, in the garden. Wow, okay. Monsi, Rabbeinu Shalom. You're in the forest. So you're in your house, okay. Be aware of what's around you. Das tachton chitzoni. Be aware of the colors, how bright or dim something is. Do a check-in. And then we can shift to das tachtoin pnimi. So I could relate to my nefesh, and within my nefesh I have physical sensations. So once again I can relate to my physical sensations. I can relate to my emotions, and I can relate to my thinking. And ultimately what we want, Sur Mirava Asei Tov, what we want is we want to be beings of gratitude. This is a tikkun on the nefesh. A tikkun on the nefesh, which are the lower spheres. And I'm saying it like this purposefully, not going into it now. Hod netzach and yisod. Hod netzach and yisod. We usually could say netzach hod yisod. Here I'm purposely saying Hod netzach and yisod. Hod is gratitude. I want my inner being, my nefesh self. I want my hirhurim to be very quick to share gratitude. Thank you. I want to hear the words of gratitude, because again, chesed, gevura, tiferes, netzach, hod. Hod is on the side of gevura, which is hirhurim. So I want to sur mira, stay away from unhealth, but I want to build in gratitude. I want to build a being of gratitude. Yehudi is gratitude. Hod is the nakuda of gratitude. So I want to experience more gratitude. I want my rewriting, I want my narrative to be a narrative where I'm experiencing tremendous gratitude. That's in my thinking. My imagery and sound is feeding gratitude to me. In regards to my feelings, we want to feel hopeful and optimistic. Those feelings of hope and optimism. Bechin of netzach. And then Yesod is connection, but Yesod is resilience. I want to feel in my body resilience. Sitting up tall, shoulders back, head comfortably positioned, but I want to have that superhero pose. And when I'm living a life where I can develop myself, that I'm experiencing greater gratitude, hope and optimism and resilience, wow, that's the hero's story. That's the hero's story. And what's the hero? The hero is the servant. We know from ancient sources, from the Greek culture, the hero was always the servant. The greatest servant is the greatest hero, and the greatest hero is the greatest servant. And this process of building a relationship and upgrading our narrative, how can we do it? So we're going to share today, we'll see where we get to, but we'll share today a couple of avodas. One avoda is the avoda of journaling. And when we speak about journaling is so important. Journaling is so important. It's so powerful. And when we understand the power of journaling, it changes us from the inside out. And we could start off when speaking about journaling as a mechanism to getting to know the nefesh, and then changing the narrative and upgrading the nefesh. There's two sides to it. First of all is just dumping out from within on paper, and then rewriting or developing a new narrative. And we'll go into that in a minute. But first, what I'd like to do, it's important always within Torah, anything that we share has to be connected to the trunk of Torah. So historically, where I really learned journaling from, Rabbi Singer spoke about journaling, Talmidim of Rebbe Freund spoke about journaling. Rabbi Yitzchak Isaac Shapira, who was a student of the Piasetzner, spoke about journaling. When I spoke to the Biala Rebbe was very big into journaling. Rebbe Ephraim Greenblatt and the Biala Rebbe, both of them. I was by Rav Greenblatt when it was a couple of days ago, and he, are you writing? So journaling is so important. And we're told in Devarim, in the 11th chapter, 18th pasuk, and you should set these words of mine upon your heart and upon your soul. And this nakuda of set these words on your heart and soul, there are many places that speak about putting wisdom onto our heart. And essentially what we are saying is to remember and contemplate it. And the Sfarim HaKadoshim speak about And the Biala Rebbe showed me this, that this Nakuda is, in Devarim, is about journaling, that we should journal, we should write. In Mishlei, for example, in the third Perek, third Pasuk Shlomo HaMelech shares, write these words on the slates of your heart. Beautiful. And the Arizal in Pirkei Avos, in the first Perek, sixth Mishnah, Kaneh lecha chaver, buy for yourself a friend. Kaneh is as well, or you can read it, Kaneh, which is a quill, reading, let your quill be your friend. And then you have other tzaddikim, less known. There was Rabbi Yosef Roifer Dalmigo, and he was around, he was from Crete, 1591 to 1655, and he was better known as the Yashar. And he writes in one of his Sfarim that the quill is the interpreter of the heart. And for example, we've got Rav Shlomo Ibn Gavriel, where he writes, the pen is the strongest magic. And then we have so many places where Rav Kook speaks about the power of journaling. The power of journaling. And obviously, we can't forget the Piasetzna in Tzav Zirus Aleph, where he speaks about this Nakuda of journaling, and he himself would journal so often. So the koyach of journaling is a koyach which is there for all of us. It's powerful, and it's really readily available. And with journaling, what I would suggest, there's two nakudas to journaling. So one nakuda to journaling is, especially between now and the next number of weeks, I'd like you to experiment every single morning for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Take a pencil and paper, pen and paper, and I want you to write, what's going on in my body? That's the question. What's going on in my body now and over the last 24 hours? What's going on in my emotions now and over the last 24 hours? And what's going on in my thinking now and over the past 24 hours? Let me reframe that, because I just said I think I future pasted it. What's going on now in my body, and what's gone on over the last 24 hours? What's going on now within my feelings, and what's gone on over the last 24 hours? And what's going on in my thinking, and what's gone on over the last 24 hours? And just journal. Journal. Put pen to paper and journal. That's stage one. And what that does, that's like a clearing. You could take a breath and you can get into a state of das. Place your attention on your breath for a few moments, and then when you're ready, open up your eyes and gift yourself the opportunity to journal. Just to write, to journal. If journaling is, not for you, you could take a tape recorder, and you could record yourself. You could even speak to somebody, sichas chaverim, and you take these questions, you could have a sichas chaverim and talk it out with somebody. But this is so therapeutic. The ability to journal. Okay, I'm now adding on recording or speaking to a friend, but the nakuda of journaling is so profound. And it's an amazing clearing. Binyamin was, a couple of days ago, speaking to Binyamin. He was going through a hard time and he forgot he could journal, and I don't know who he was speaking to, but he was speaking to somebody and they basically said, have you journaled? I said, no. I said, journal. And he journaled for 2-3 hours. It gave him afterwards such clarity. He knew exactly what he needed to do. And he didn't even write about what he wanted to do. He just wrote about what was going on and how he was feeling. And it gave him such a clarity. Taking out the information from your inner world and dumping it out on paper. For anyone who's in the Tefillah Chabura, it's part of the Avodah of Tefillah as well. And it may look a little bit odd at times, but when you're davening and you have a foreign thought, have a pad of paper, just write it down and let it go, let it fly away. Chedushei Torah, write down Chedushei Torah. It's clarity, my friends. Chasam Sofer, Arizal, wow, they would write. So this nakuda of journaling, having the ability to take out that which is going on within you and dump it on paper, so powerful. But then there's another shift. The next shift is the Asay Tov, Sur Mirava Asay Tov. What do I want? What do I want? And you could journal. What do I want in my body? Spend a few paragraphs. This is what I want for my body today. I want to feel like this and this and this. Maybe you can even put down a couple of things that you can do in order to, in your mind, think about how you can create that experience. And in my emotions, I want to feel this and this and this. My Rigshe Gufani, I can share what I want to feel. And even talk to your body, as Rabbi Nachman says. Talk to your Ivarim. Guf, today we're going to stand up strong. We're going to stand up strong with resilience. Regesh, feelings of hope and gratitude. And even in your thinking, Hirhurim, please give me good thoughts of Hakar Satov. Think good thoughts. Write it down. So you've got the Surmira, you've got the Asay Tov. This I learned from Rav Shapira, who got it from his Rebbe, Piasatzna. Write down what you do want. And write down a couple of things of how you can get there. You could journal these 3 points. Or you can record it to yourself, or you can have a Sichas Chaverim. And this is something so powerful. This is something so powerful, and it is there for you. It really is. It's there for you. And when we can create this conscious reflection, and when we can really create and own a conscious intention and manifestation, wow! Think about it. Every single day you're doing this. You're getting out the old and bringing in the new. Absolutely amazing. Chazdei Hashem, absolutely amazing. And when we're speaking about healing, and when we're speaking about the Pesach journey, the Pesach journey is, if you look at the Haggadah, we'll go into this maybe next time, but if you look at the Haggadah is a text where people speaking about the Pesach journey. As we have gone through last year and the year before, you go through the Haggadah. If you were the Bal Haggadah, you would bring psukim from the Chumashim here and there and everywhere else. But no, we don't. We speak about people speaking about the Haggadah all the way through. Why? Because first stage is realizing that our experience is malleable. And to realize we can be the Balabais, we can be the Baldas, the Balastas. We can have the ability, as Rav Kook writes in Shmone Kvasim, Vav, Lamed, Daled. Sometimes the only way for a person to uplift themselves from sadness is through journaling, and journaling the thoughts of their hearts. But then you've as well got the way you could move forward in life is by writing out what you do want and reading it and reading it and reading it. And through that reading of it, it changes you, it reminds you. And this Nakuda of the Haggadah Shel Pesach, this Nakuda of Pesach, is again rewriting our own script. Okay, Chevra, take a moment and just think about what you've heard. And then I need to go because it could be I'm waking up family. I don't want to wake up the kids. If we wake up the kids, my wife will kill me. And I'd like to carry on in the next couple of days. And everyone should have bracha, mazel, and hatzlacha. If I can invite you, please, just stay online and speak to each other, do a breaking out, speak to each other, talk out what we've heard here. And Be'ezras Hashem, we should go from strength to strength. I love you and respect you all very, very, very much. And l'chaim tovim u'shalom. Kol tov, and we'll speak soon.